how has the Infinity Festival evolved over the last several years?
Absolutely. Well, we're going into our fourth year, so we're, still a newbie festival, and festivals do take a while to build up. We were the brainchild of a gentleman named Mark Lieber and Nick Urban, who had been working for the Advanced Imaging Society and did an event called VR on the Lot. And it was one of the first events to address new technologies and content and bring together people under that topic. And what Mark and Nick started to think about was, there really is this world emerging in LA specifically that is a merger of Hollywood and Silicon Valley. And how do we get creatives and tech folks together and really talk about all of this? And that's how they came up with the Infinity Festival, because LA has a lot of different events that cover digital, that cover creativity, that cover tech, but nothing was really showing the unique merger of that's really driving the entertainment industry right now. So they came up with creating this, and it started in Beverly Hills 4 years ago, because they also wanted it to be a uniquely LA based event, so that it took over an area of the town like a lot of these great festivals do. So we started in Beverly Hills, and we had our first year there, and it was very successful. The next year we realized, okay, people don't like to walk in LA. And then, so we were too spread out. And so we decided to move it into Hollywood, and we took over the Goya Studios and the Dream Hotel. And we basically took over that block, Selma and Cahuenga. And we had 2 days of panels, exhibits, parties, and screenings that were down the block at Dolby. And so it was really a merger of almost like South by Tribeca and Art Basel, because there's also a gallery that's an art and tech gallery. So, and then last year we were all virtual, and we did it on a virtual stage using LED screens. So we walked the walk, of using the latest production tech to do the show. And this year we're back live in real life again at Goya and the Dream Hotel, taking over 2 days. November 2nd is our kickoff evening party, and the 3rd and the 4th are more conferences and panels, and we have an expo hall as well. So it's a really unique, I think it's a unique conference. Again, we have sponsors like Unity or Microsoft, Intel, NVIDIA, all these companies that are sort of powering the engine for all the technology that's driving Hollywood.
So tell us a little about the thinking behind having a Metaverse track this year, and why that was so important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have about, it's a large board, but a very large advisory board of about 80 folks. And they're all the folks running media entertainment at studios, networks, and all the tech companies. And we meet with them a couple of times a year. And then I specifically, as we're getting closer to the show, over the quarter before the show, I start to do these briefing calls with them to find out what are the concepts, topics, and all of those things that are happening in town that are relevant. What is their briefs for the year? What are they seeing bubbling up? And so metaverses obviously came up all the time. It is a hyped expression right now in town, but also they're looking at it as business opportunities. So some of them are building the infrastructure to the metaverse, like the VR tech companies, but also the gaming engine companies, and any of the companies that are also providing the pipes, right? So we have data centers sponsoring the show this year, because there's a large amount of content moving through these systems, these networks, that need to go from the content creator to the distributor back to the person's home. And so all of these people that are surrounding the ecosystem are coming to the show. So metaverse as a concept, as a entity, as a business model, as a destination for entertainment or business meetings, has come up quite a lot.
I've always seen Infinity Festival as one of the real art and technology merger events. And this year you're partnering with the Van Gogh Experience. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Van Gogh, the immersive Van Gogh is happening in town about a block from where we're having the event. And it made sense to create a partnership with them because, again, they are an exact example of what we're talking about. They are taking IP from artists and they are using projection technology and creating their own projection technology. And they're getting great real estate, great spaces, and they're combining all three to create this immersive experience. And in this case, when I say immersive, often in our community, we talk about immersive and we only mean virtual reality, augmented reality, or extended reality. But immersive also means engaging a attendee or your consumer or your customer in an experience that's full body, mind, and soul. So it doesn't only have to be putting on an HMD, a headset, it can also be physically what's happening to you. And so from their perspective, they're bringing art and immersing you in it in a whole new way. And so having them as a partner made so much sense. So they're speaking on sessions to talk to us about taking great IP and making it more immersive by bringing it in an environment and allowing people to engage with it in a different way than, say, watching a movie or reading a comic book. And then the art piece is really important because they're on a mission to bring great art to people that maybe never thought it would be interesting to them. And so by bringing projection technology to it, projection mapping technology to it, it's opening up a whole new demographic to artwork that maybe before wasn't approachable for them. So
Yeah,
they're a perfect partner.
I splurged early on. I bought my tickets about 8 months ago and went a few weeks back. And I can say it was surprisingly moving. And it was also surprising the diversity, ages 6 to 96, and all just different kinds of people experiencing art together in a room together. It was a really interesting
it's very moving. They're also doing yoga classes and mindful exercises there. And so I think we start to see that this is not only about what can I do tonight for fun that's different, but it's also taking the role of creating other experiences for people, which I think is really important. And I'll bring to your attention, this is just a great thing to think about, but if you go to the Fever app, which is all over the country now, and it's a great app to go to when you want to buy tickets to an experience, and Van Gogh would be in there as well. But if you note, when you go on to Fever, every event that it talks about has the word immersive or experience or experiential or engaging, because there is a drive right now to create a more robust physical, mental, visual experience for people, for their entertainment. So we're moving away from giving me a thing, and we're moving more into creating an experience. And that brings me back to, again, sort of talking about Infinity Festival, is that we have an expo hall, but part of the experience of going to this show is about LA. And it's about Hollywood and technology companies coming together and people running into each other at the show to talk about the work they're doing. And that is what I think we've all been missing for the last 2 years. And that was why it was so important for us to do an in-person show at sort of a tricky time where some bigger shows are having challenges and all that. We have COVID protocols in place that are relevant to LA County. But it's really important because great work, great business happens when people can bring all of their resources together. And this is really about Hollywood and Silicon Valley coming together. And so you can run into your favorite superstars there in the business. That's the best thing in the world, is you're standing next to like a major player at Unity, and they're going to tell you how their gaming engine is changing the world, and that's what's so magical about it.
Well, thank you so much, Lori. Mariana and I will be moderating some interesting panels in the Metaverse track. And
I cannot wait for that. And I'll just, as a closing note, because I love all the conversations that have been happening on this Zoom, but I think our community needs to understand how are NFTs impacting them, because it feels very far away to a lot of people in the entertainment industry. And so I think bringing this conversation and in the context of Infinity will help a lot of people wrap their head around how is this going to impact storytelling. And obviously it is. And we even have a session with, I don't know if you guys know about 4D Fun, but they're actually taking digital artists and using NFTs as the walleting to a metaverse where you get to hang out with your favorite rapper. So the NFT is the rapper doing a performance, and you go inside of their metaverse with a VR headset and you get to dance with your favorite artist. And so that is a great example of, well, I didn't know that that's what an NFT or a metaverse was. So there are all sorts of conversations that need to happen in these rooms. And that's why I'm so excited that you guys are going to bring this thinking to the festival.